Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Empowered Pause. I am your host, Rachel Chinoa J. Today is Wednesday, March 20th. It's officially spring, so welcome to spring. The weather here in New York does not feel like spring yet. It's still a little chilly, but I'm hoping for some milder days coming because it's kind of cold. It's just a little bit cold for me. So, welcome to part two of our women's, our Women's History Month series, where we are exploring women's mental health. And last week I talked about the some of the challenges that show up for women and the different ways that they actually present. This week I'm going to give you a few techniques and ways to actually cope. And then next week we'll conclude the series with highlighting a few women in the mental health sphere that are doing some great work. So, for those of you who do not know, I am Rachel Chinoa J, and I am the founder and the executive director of Speak Initiative. Speak Initiative is a nonprofit peer support organization that stands in the gap for people who are experiencing mental health challenges or suicidal ideations. SPEAK stands for Suicide Prevention Through Empowerment, Action, and Kindness. And it is through those three philosophies that we present services for the community that are free, right? So that is just a little bit of information about Speak Initiative. Um, Again, if you want to have more information about Speak, our web address is streaming at the bottom of the on the banner. You can find us on all social media platforms. After this, you can actually comment, share, like this video. I'll say that again at the end. And just keep in touch with us. Of course, I'll give more information about Speak at the end of this broadcast. Okay, so today I wanted to jump right into a few techniques that we can use as women to address our mental health in a more positive way. Now, of course, we all know that seeking professional help is on the top of the list. If you are challenged or if you are struggling and there are things that are coming up that you don't feel that you can handle alone, seeking professional help is the first thing you can probably do. If you do not know how that looks, this is why Speak Initiative is here. We stand in the gap with you while you find the resources. We find the resources together while we create a plan of action for you through your mental health care so that you can get to the right professionals that you may need. And there are also some other activities that we have going on, which I'll talk about later in the broadcast as well. So I wanted to say that, of course, seeking professional mental health care is a priority and it is available out there. If you do not know how to do that, that's a different conversation and we can tap on that in a different live. The next thing I want to highlight is practicing self-care. And we talk about self-care a lot, and we know that prioritizing self-care is essential, right? That can include exercise, adequate sleep, healthy eating, relaxation techniques such as meditation or deep breathing exercises, and then, of course, engaging in hobbies and activities that bring you joy. We'll go deeper into that because it doesn't necessarily have to be the basic things that people say: go for a walk, take deep breaths. What if you want to do Tai Chi? What if you need to run? What if you need to just go for a walk with a group of people? We are providing services now that will allow those things to take place, right? What if you're not a traditional person and you would like to take up boxing? Then we will be able to find resources for you that will offer those services, right? So next we can work on challenging negative thoughts. Now, cognitive behavior techniques can help women identify and challenge negative thought patterns that contribute to anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem. Reframing those negative thoughts in a more balanced or realistic way can promote greater mental resilience. That leads to practicing compassion and self compassion. Those negative thoughts do not allow you to have compassion for yourself. So, being kind and compassionate towards yourself during times of difficulty or struggle can promote resilience and self-acceptance, and engaging in self-compassion, um, such as soothing health practices, soothing self-talk, soothing positive self-talk. Those types of things can foster a sense of inner strength and worthiness. Reframing that conversation that you have, reframing the conversation is very important, and it's something I have to check in and do on a regular basis with myself. It's very easy to fall into negative self speak if that has been your pattern for a long time. But we are able to break the patterns and actually create better ways of communicating externally and internally, right? Next, we can limit our exposure to stressors. While it may not be possible to eliminate all sources of stress, we can take steps to minimize exposure to stressors whenever possible. That may involve limiting your social media use. Sometimes it can get really hectic on social media when you fall into the rabbit hole of information. I have been challenged with that myself. Sometimes you're on one topic and then it just goes and goes and goes, and that can cause anxiety, right? You can create a calm and an organized environment that can foster a better sense of your surroundings, basically. So, a cluttered environment will help you have a cluttered mind, as opposed to a nice, clean, safe, warm environment. You may feel less stressed. Or seeking support to address your stressful situations. Again, we are not alone in our challenges and we are not alone in our struggles, right? Remember to seek support. If you feel like you don't have support, you can reach out to Speak Initiative, because we are here to support you or someone you know, right? And of course, if you do not have the support you need, you can learn about stress management techniques. There are different books, there are different videos, there are different ways that you can learn specific techniques to deal directly with stress. And that's such as time management, prioritization, relaxation techniques. These all can help cope with your daily stressors more effectively. Now, I like to engage in creative expression, which is another way to combat or keep your mental health safe, and engaging in creative activities such as art, music, dance, writing, crafting. They all can be very therapeutic for expressing your emotions, for processing your experiences, and to foster self expression and self discovery, right? Um, I happen to be a very analytical person, and I do have an artistic side. I love to write, I love to scribble and draw. I don't think it's artistic, but evidently it is, because it comes from me. But I've realized and I've been instructed that I need to color or create images, and figure out why those images are coming out based on the colors that I'm choosing. So it's exercise and it's homework, and it's things that we can actually do to figure out what's going on internally so we can basically address them in a more healthy way. Journaling is another way. I said I love to write, and keeping a journal can be very therapeutic to express your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences. Writing regularly can help you process emotions, gain insight into patterns of thinking, and to track your progress over time. I think it's really helpful to be able to look back and see the changes from then to now. Those changes or that growth can actually encourage you to keep going, to know that your your challenges, I don't like to use the word suffering, but your challenges are not in vain, so to speak, right? You're doing the work. It may feel slow, it may feel like, some days that you haven't done enough, that you may be so bent out of shape or so triggered or so emotionally overwhelmed, right? That you do not feel like anything has changed. I have experienced this recently, actually, and I fell back into the negative self speak, and I had to check in with myself. Like, what are you doing? You know better now. You can do something that's different, something that affirms who you are, instead of falling into the patterns of depression that I'm so familiar with, right? So journaling helps that. Connecting with nature helps that. Spending time outdoors, whether it's going for a walk in the park, hiking, gardening. It's not, well, it's almost spring here. Well, it is spring, but it's still cold. But some people love to garden, or simply to enjoy natural scenery, right? It can have a calming and rejuvenating effect on your mental well being. I love nature. I don't go out enough in it. Um, because of social anxiety, but I'm trying to find different ways to bring nature into my space that can speak to who I am and bring that life around and put it near you on a regular basis, so that affirms your life and the life of that other thing. May it be a plant, may it be a pet, right? May it be maybe you want a turtle, maybe you want fish, something to that effect. But life, affirming life, nature is life, and it affirms us every day. We just have to actually look around and see it. Now, setting realistic goals, setting achievable goals, and that's the key word, achievable, and breaking them down into smaller, manageable tasks can provide a sense of accomplishment and motivation. I say the word achievable again because sometimes we get and we set ourselves up for failure by creating goals that are not manageable, that are not achievable in a certain period of time. We're putting ourselves in a cycle of failure, or not. I don't like the word failure either, but if you don't achieve something, you may feel like you have failed. And that is not necessarily true. You've put too much on the plate at one time, and you can't take a big bite. We have to break it down into smaller, manageable pieces. So setting realistic goals is a thing. We talk about that in our 90-day intensive program at Speak Initiative as well. Practicing emotional regulation, which is learning to identify and regulate emotions in healthy ways that can improve your mood stability and reduce reactivity, right? Techniques such as deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, mindfulness based practices such as somatic movements, things of that nature. Um, it can help you manage more intense emotions. I again, and I'm putting myself in this a lot because I want to personalize this a bit to let you know that you're not alone. I am here as a peer advocate and a speaker as well as a listener. Um, the reason Speak Initiative was created was birthed out of the challenges that I have had, that I hope that I can help other people through. Right. So I'm putting myself in all of these activities and these ideas that I'm giving you, so that you can see I actually can use some of these too. And I have used most of them at one point in time or another. Okay. So again, emotional regulation is really important. And that's something I'm working on at the present, right? I don't like emotions. I don't know if it's, I always take to my close friends, I'm not sure how people deal with emotions on a regular basis, because they can be so big and they can be so overwhelming at times. But we are capable of regulating our bodies. We are capable of calming the things in our bodies that may feel like they're out of control. We can find that peace internally without allowing it to create a reaction that may not be favorable. And part of emotional regulation for me is building supportive relationships, because cultivating strong connections with friends, family, and your supportive community also provides emotional support during challenging times. I've learned to make that phone call. I've learned to send a text to the people who I know may be available to hear me in that moment, or to just sit and listen and not say anything, or to just sit and talk about something totally unrelated, because sometimes I just need a distraction so I can come back to that emotion in a more healthy way, right? Seeking social support is part of building supportive relationships, but practicing participating in support groups, whether it be in person or online, can provide a sense of validation, connection, and understanding. Sharing experiences with others who may be facing similar challenges can reduce feelings of isolation and offer valuable insights and encouragement. You are not alone. Remember that. You are never alone. Even when you feel like you may be the only person going through something, reach out. You never know what you can find out from someone else by expressing what you're experiencing. Maintaining healthy boundaries in relationships is also very important, um, because it can help you preserve your emotional well being, right? And it prevents feelings of resentment or burnout. Boundaries are extremely important in setting limits on others' behaviors and communicating your needs and expectations clearly will prioritize your self-care, right? And I go right back to um, our first activity, which was seeking professional help. When you consult with a mental health professional, such as a therapist or a counselor, it can provide valuable support and guidance. They actually can offer personalized strategies for coping with stress, managing emotions, and improving your overall mental well being. So, we at Speak Initiative are not mental health professionals. We are peer specialists who are just standing in the gap while you get to the mental health professionals. And if you do not know how to do that, we can help you with that, right? So, by incorporating these strategies into our lives, we can further support our mental health and well being and foster resilience and self awareness. It is important to remember that mental health is a journey, it is not a linear path. It's okay to seek support and implement strategies that work best for you. That is part two of our Women and Mental Health series. So I hope I went through, I think, about 9 or 10 different things that we can actually do to secure and take care of our mental health. I hope that you will find either one or two of those things that were helpful and you could begin to start implementing those practices into your life, right? Thank you so much for taking time today to listen. We will be back. Well, I will be back next Wednesday, the 27th at 7:15 with part three of our Women in Mental Health series, where we'll highlight some women who have been change makers in the mental health field that I believe and I strongly believe should be acknowledged. So we'll have a short discussion about that. And if you need assistance, if you know someone who needs assistance, we are here. Our information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Again, my name is Rachel Chinoa J. I am the founder and the executive director of engagement at Speak Initiative. And if you want more information about what we do, please feel free to visit our website. I also want to let you know that our Speakers with Sneakers event will be launching again 1 month from today, which is April 20th. And we will also hopefully be having a series for women starting next month. The flyers will be out for that shortly, and you can find information on our website as well. Um, Thank you so much for joining. Please like, share, react to this video. Follow us on all social media platforms and take care of yourself. Until next week, be well. Have a great, great evening.